Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Cobbin, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Boating with Tomorrow's Pros Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
All right, I promise we're here this morning. We'll just leave it on the screen right here, Toy. How does that sound? Is that all good?
I'm all good.
Is that good? There we go. Man, what a fun morning this morning. That's the best way to describe it, right?
Definitely a Monday.
I'm glad that you have children, and that it's always good to have someone that you can relate with.
Yes.
Oh, I love my little ones, but this was one of those more, and I know I also sound congested, and that's not it. Mucinex works wonders, by the way.
It makes you sleep good.
Yeah, makes you sleep good. But, I was up and moving. It's just, let's just say the little one wasn't. Caden has a doctor's appointment today, and Braylon did not want to leave the house this morning. And I have never had to, I don't want to use the word force because that sounds kind of tough, but I guess it is the word. I've never, had to force my child into the car seat. She was kicking and screaming, saying, "No, Daddy, no." And Bridget's not working today. And so I thought, hey, maybe I'll just leave her here at the house. And then we're like, no, that ain't going to work because Caden has a doctor's appointment. And so, and she's got, my wife has a lot of stuff that she's got to get done. And, she has just worked her tail off the last 2 weeks. So it all culminated. Let's just say this. It all culminated to this morning.
Braylon said she's had enough.
Yeah. She was screaming, "No, Dad." I've never, she was just terror in her eye. "No, Daddy, no." And I said, I guess we're going to be late. And surprisingly, I was very, very calm. Sometimes I'll raise my voice we got to go. I was just whatever. No. I ain't fighting it this morning. So, it was a culmination of weekend congestion, exhaustion, Bridget working 2 weeks in a row, 12-hour, which ended up being 14-hour days, 4 days in a row, 2 weeks in a row, and then this morning. So everything's good. New week, new start. We're ready to roll.
There you go.
So, and I love, and I told you at the door, I said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I was letting you know that we were going to be a little bit late." And I said, "Hey, Toy, I'm sorry I'm running late." And you're like, "Don't worry. I get it. I've been there. So
Yep. Usually every morning I'm rolling around on two wheels. Sometimes I have to be careful and remind myself I'm in a school zone or something. I've learned to set my cruise control when I pass the Ignite. I learned to set my cruise control on that because it's really easy to go down that hill and, whatever. Because we're usually in a hurry. We don't, my almost 9-year-old is not a morning person. And I have to yell at her, tell her to bring her socks and shoes with her, put them on in the car.
It's funny you mentioned the socks and shoes because that's what we were battling this morning too. She did not want to put on her socks and boots. And I said, sweetheart, Daddy's already very, very late now. And we were going to be probably 10 minutes before, so we would have been all right. And then this just culminated, so it ended up being very late. And I was listening to K-boning in the back of my head because she told me there was times when her child would do that and she would just throw him in there. And she said she literally threw him in there in a diaper one time because he wouldn't. And so I was like, all right. I said, Braylon, it's cold outside. She says, I don't care, Dad. She's at the age now where she telling me she don't care. I don't care, Daddy. And she was screaming. I said, all right, we're just going to the car seat. So I just put her in there without any socks and shoes on. And thankfully that worked because when we got to the school, she finally put them on, and
her little feet were cold.
Yeah, but man, and I had the heater going. I mean, I'm not, the truck was nice and warm. It wasn't anything bad to the child.
I cranked mine from when I walk over.
You're at home clicking it.
Yep, that Ford app is amazing.
So anyways, we're not on Spirit Radio FM this morning. I apologize for that. Some of you who listen you're not listening this morning because we're obviously not on it. Because when in the madness of this morning, I normally have another computer sitting here. Well, guess what? That's still on my nightstand at home. So it's okay. You're allowed to have mornings to where things just don't work out. And you know what? If you're going to judge me for that, just hit the unfriend button on Facebook this morning. I don't mind.
Well, he's doing some positive advertising this morning. Rob, would you come mark it for me?
Yeah, is that all right?
I don't like it, leave it.
Just kidding. Hey, welcome in. Monday, as we rock and roll here. Always good to be with you, and we want to welcome you in episode 429 as we get rolling here on this Monday. We just want to lift you up and encourage you. A lot of what I'm saying, I mean, yeah, we were late, but I'm joking around. Don't unfriend me, please. I enjoy being friends with you. It is good to have you on here. We are here on this Monday, a marvelous Monday, with our friends from Walker County Federal Credit Union, Ms. Toy Williamson. And as always, appreciate all that they do and their generous support. In fact, I went over the other day, and Miss Ruthie took great care of me. We had to get a cashier's check and presented that to Care Center Huntsville. And
awesome. You
guys make that process so easy. Beforehand, when I was doing banking at the big banks, it was like pulling.
Bad word.
Well, it was like pulling teeth trying to get something simple and I don't know what stuff is called. I guess it's called a cashier's check. I finally learned that. But y'all makes things so easy. I would kind of sweat going into my old bank because I didn't know, one, who I was going to get. And if I didn't know who it was and they didn't know me, then there's obviously regulation you got to go through on stuff. But it was like, you'd go in there and sit down. They would try to, what's the word? If you're trying to make someone feel good and, you're trying to snooze them a little bit. Is that the right word? Schmooze them. They'd have their little bougie area to sit in. Their little, come over and get some coffee while you wait. Man, I didn't come into the bank to get some coffee. I came in to do some business.
I'll give you a bottle of water.
Yeah, see, well, that's all right. But it's they come up, and they have a little hostess in there. I'm like, what am I at a restaurant, man? Y'all trying too hard.
Well, if they have better customer service than some of these restaurants around here, then we're winning.
Well, I'm sitting there thinking man, I came in to do some banking business, and it's funny y'all do all this in the lobby, but when I call that 800 number, I don't get this type of service. So
we don't have a 1-800 number.
Yeah, we ain't nobody. If I got cell phone numbers with y'all, that's what's cool.
1802 Normal Park, come in and see me.
That's what I love about y'all. It's 936. Hello. Hey, Rob, what's going on? Hey, sorry, I'm calling you at 9:00 at night. Oh, no worries. Click. Oh, she'd quit calling. No, I'm just kidding. That doesn't happen. But y'all are, in all honesty, y'all are so good and so easy, and I can go in, get what I need, and get out. And I don't ever worry about anything. And every business will get a negative review or somebody will say something. It's inevitable. It happens. Even with us. I mean, I've had some people say a couple of things, but I go to sleep at night knowing that I tried to do everything that I could to do it the right way to the best of my ability. And I think maybe that's the inspiration this morning is don't put so much pressure on yourself because other people trying to put that pressure on you. What I mean by that, just do what you do and do what you can do and do it to the best of your ability.
That's right.
And if you do that and you know that you did that, then you're going to go to sleep at night ignoring the 1%. And that's where I'm getting with this too. The 1% will try to drag you down. And you've got to ignore the 1%. You can still be nice to the 1%, but you got to ignore them and be thankful for the 99 that support you.
Isn't it amazing though that one little comment or that one little negative innuendo can affect you so much more than the thousands of positive things? I mean, that is so true. I mean, it really is, and it's hard to get past those things, especially when you know in your heart you're trying to do the right thing and whatever. We have a lot of that, and most of the time those negative things come out of frustration, not because people truly feel like you're a piece of
Garbage,
junk or whatever. I think a lot of it comes out of the heat of the moment and frustration. So anyways, but in defense of the credit union, if we've ever had any shortcomings, it's definitely because we have gone to every extreme that we could and just couldn't help. And sometimes it's hard to tell people no, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And I was going to tell you on the cashier's check, back a long time ago, which we have cashier's checks and we have teller checks, and it's not easy to put stop payments on cashier's checks. So we encourage people to use our corporate checks, our credit union checks, and that makes it a little easier if you were to lose it, or it got stolen, or it never made it in the mail, or whatever. A lot of that hoopla that you got, the formality with cashier's checks were very difficult back a long time ago. I mean, like you used to have to buy an indemnity bond to get them cashed in. So things are a little different now, but that's where some of that may have come into play. So
yeah, don't be heading over to the big retail store getting a Western Union. Just go to your local credit union. Why you go to Western Union when you got your credit union?
Right.
Go over there and let them take care of you.
And our tellers and member services staff will give you the best advice on what type of check you need to help you get your business taken care of. So you can always ask questions.
You're so right. I wanted to circle back, and the reason I brought all this up, one time I saw one comment. I mean, I love how people come to the defense of others when they know that they're a good organization, and somebody had said something about you guys, and I mean, it was one comment, and it was totally bogus, and then there was like 100 comments saying, I've never experienced, and that's what I love about when you do things the right way, you're going to have an army go to bat for you. And I read that, and I was kind of shaking my head. I'm like, man, you must have had a really bad day, because I guarantee that, and I understand things happen. I've been in a situation to where, yesterday, for example, we go out to eat, and and I'd complimented the young lady that was serving. I said, y'all have been so great. Service is always so fast here. And then guess what? It took like 45 minutes to get our food. But I was like, I'm not going to go bash this. This place has made so many more deposits in my life than withdrawals. Why am I going to go throw a bad withdrawal in there on them?
Right.
It was a busy day. There was a lot of people moving around. I get frustrated with little ones, and you can understand this too as a mom. And, it's like when you go out to eat, you've got a 20-minute window with little ones. And that's it.
To entertain them.
And then after that window is over, you're done. And so we were 25 minutes past that window. There was sugar flying. There was water pouring. Thank you, Kay, because Braylon has learned how to pour now from the Montessori. And so she had some little thing, and she had a cup and a different cup, and she decided she was going to start pouring. I just was like, whatever, let her go at it, as long as she's quiet and happy. So she was having fun.
They were the ones that took so long. Let them clean the mess up.
Well, then Caden had like this cool little booster. They have like a little mini booster now. Have you seen these? Yeah. Instead of the ones that go to the floor.
Do they hook them onto the table?
Well, no, it's one that sits in the booth. But it's like the legs are cut off, so it's still a regular booster. It's not like the plastic booster seat.
Gotcha.
And all of a sudden, he finds out that he can jump in it while he's strapped in. And so, man, this thing's over here rocking around, and
everybody behind you or around you are probably talking,
oh yeah,
kids are bad. Their mom and daddy need to take them to the bathroom and give them a talking to.
And I'm just like, you know what? they're doing their thing. They're using up their energy. Go for it. But the whole point of me bringing all this up is just, again, the inspiration. Do what you know is right every day, and don't allow the 1% to take you down. And you were so right whenever you said, isn't it crazy how that one is the one that just irks at you? And I really do struggle hard with letting things go. And many of us do, but me especially. And I've learned, and I keep telling myself this year, my motto is quit looking in the rearview mirror, because if you're looking in the rearview mirror, you're not looking through the windshield. You've got to look forward. And I've been praying about that, and it really does help having that attitude. And that's something that I'm really working on this year. Because there's a lot of things. I go back and look at my past, and I'm like, man, I should have did that or did this. And no, you're where you're at because of where you're at right now is a culmination of all the decisions that you've ever made.
Absolutely.
Where you are.
What you sow.
Yeah, and it can be a good thing or it can be a bad thing, and I choose to try to look at it in a good way. But you had mentioned earlier, someone had told me, well, so-and-so is not a fan of yours. And, that just it just ate at me and ate at me and ate at me, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, I've always been good to this person. It was news to me, like, it was a surprise. You ever had that, like, you think that everything about something's good, and then all of a sudden somebody throws something and you're like, what? And it just kind of hits you in a weird way. And then it makes you start questioning some things, like, well, what did I do? But then I started thinking, I was like, I never did anything, and that was something that was really hard, for me over a year. And I told the person, I said, please don't ever tell me anything like that again, because you don't know how I'm wired. And, like, that ate at me for an entire year. Like, don't ever tell me that again. You just keep that to yourself.
Especially when you have to go be around that person that didn't really care for you.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, this is tough, and I prayed about that too. And I found, like, this joy through it. At the end, I finally said, it reminded me when I was in Fargo, and some dude popped off a comment, and he said, whenever I decided to leave, I called up everybody, and I was so scared because I didn't want to let anybody down. And it was the most nerve-wracking thing that I ever had to do, was go and tell a group of people that believed in me enough to drag me up 1,200 miles and pay for me to get there and invest in me for me to turn around. And I felt like, man, I hope
12 feet of snow.
Yeah, 12 feet of snow. And I felt bad. I genuinely felt bad because I knew the effort that they put in to getting me up there, and I knew that it had taken a lot to get up there, and so I was really nervous, especially calling this guy. He's the vice president of this entire national organization that oversees all major college athletics. He's the guy that's in charge of finding talent in the broadcasting world and putting them in front of these athletic departments or the media people at the universities, and so he narrowed it down with me, and I'm not bragging, I'm just very thankful. Of 74 people, he narrowed it down to 3, and I was blessed to be one of those 3. Had the interview, obviously got the job, and I remember it made me so nervous calling him because I was so scared, and I said, man, this guy believed in me, and I was so worried that it was going to make him look bad. And it bothered me. It really bothered me. And when I called him, Toy, and told him, I said, man, I hate to have this call with you, but I said, I don't think this is going to work out. And I explained because of family, and we're having another child, and I didn't see all these things coming, right? And the first thing he told me, he goes, don't worry about it. You didn't burn any bridges. And he said, the number one thing is you're doing what's best for your family, and we respect that as an organization. And he goes, that will not take away anything from our relationship. So here's another thing. Sometimes when you feel like it could be the worst outcome, it ends up being maybe the best outcome. Right. And I still talk to that person from time to time. And now, would he be eager to, if I called and there was a big opportunity somewhere, and would he be eager to put my name in the hat? Maybe not. I don't know. But we've maintained a friendship. And I think that's what's important, is when you're genuine about the way that you believe in something, and you're just authentic, and you don't try to beat around the bush and make up something to try to make the situation better. Just put it out there and be genuine. And that ultimately, in the moment, is going to be maybe one of the hardest things you've ever had to do. But it's going to come back, and you're going to tell yourself, man, I'm so glad that I handled it the way that I did. So just a little encouragement to lift you all up here on a Monday. I'm telling all these things to myself, too. Feel better about being late this morning.
Well, I'm a very loyal person, and I feel like that when I establish relationships, they mean something to me. And at my age, I'm not in the part of my life where I'm trying to make new friends or whatever. I love people and I don't mind having friends, but you know what I'm saying. There's folks that you are close to, but
your friends list is full, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's always room for
the door's open.
Absolutely,
but it's not wide open anymore.
I have a core group of people that building that trust and that relationship and that dynamic is very difficult, and so I take that very seriously. And and I'm saying this because I have had a situation where I thought there was a strong relationship there with a few people, and they didn't obviously feel the same as I did, and it was heartbreaking because you really genuinely cared about these people. And I normally am not a grudge holder, but I had been bitter. And I'm getting over it now, but it's taken me a while to get there because I like I said, sometimes I think too much and care too much with my heart, and I need to use the old noggin up there and let the heart take control. So it's
the old phrase, get better, not bitter. And I've had to use that to myself too,
Yep. Well, I've learned something from it. I've learned something from it. And, so.
I've learned that I used to have this motto that, trust everybody till they give you a reason not to. And as I've gotten older, and unfortunately we live in a world
it's
now.
The opposite.
You've got to be a little more guarded. I won't get into the full details, but I had a mentor of mine had told me, a veteran in the broadcasting industry who I respect tremendously, but I was so excited about an opportunity that I wouldn't say I ignored what he said, but I thought that I was sitting here thinking like, man, what I can do, this will really help me with my job. And it was basically our streaming platform. And he said, don't give that to people because they'll just take it and run with it. And I was more concerned about, my job and how this would benefit, me and it would help me to I thought it would help me to have like a better standing in my previous job. And he was exactly right. And I go back and think a lot about that sometimes there's ideas that you have or things that you have, and that's not for everybody to know. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm the type of person that I want to share like every single thing that I know, and I want to help others, and I want it to be a blessing to others. But I've also realized, and I think there's something even in the Bible about that, to be honest. I'll have to find the scripture one day, but there was something in there about, it's not good to share everything, maybe ideas that you have, because some people will take it and run with it. It's funny, I just watched, have you ever watched the social, it's about Mark Zuckerberg. It's called like The Social something. They made it like way back in 2012. And I learned a lot about, it's actually a really good movie. Even if you're like, I'm a technology type nerd, but even if you're not that way, it's a really good movie. And it's about like Mark Zuckerberg, and it's a remake of like how Facebook got started. And, these guys from Harvard, these twin brothers from Harvard University had an idea, and they called it like the Harvard Connection. Well, they were looking for a programmer to help get this thing off the ground. Who'd they find? Mark Zuckerberg, right?
Okay.
And so Mark took the idea, and these brothers, by the way, ended up being like Olympic rowers, like rowing. You get what I'm saying? Like they were pretty prestigious guys and all this. I forget the movie, The Social something, but it's really good. I never watched it. I was surprised. I watched it the other day. But long story short is Mark Zuckerberg is sitting here. He sees the idea. These guys give it to him, and they should have put some sort of NDA in place or something, right? Well, they didn't. So they get this kid to come in and help, or fellow classmate or whatever you want to call him. And he keeps putting them off and tell them, oh, I'll have the code in a week, or now I can't do this. It'll be well, like 50 days later, they notice this thing pops up called the Facebook. Well, it was Mark Zuckerberg literally took their idea and expanded it. Long story short, these brothers end up suing him years later, and they do get an undisclosed amount that was in the millions. But again, there was somebody that had an idea, and they weren't cautious about the way they approached getting help for that idea. And I'm not saying this like in a pessimistic way, because if you can't be so guarded to the fact that you cut everybody off, but you have to go through a process.
Have to protect yourself.
You got to protect yourself. And I was so eager in the broadcast industry, and I wanted to move up, and I wanted things to happen that I didn't protect myself. And to this day, that comes back and haunts me now. And there's things that my mentor told me that I should have really listened to. And I'm not saying this like in an attack to anybody here in this community. I'm just saying it in general. I should have really, really listened. I can go back now and count 3 ideas that I had that I was really open about, that other people took them and ran with them and left me in the dark. And so, those type of things over time build up bitterness, and they're all things that you start harboring in your heart. And then it's helped me, though, to become more guarded about certain things. And so there's a lot of things that I'm working on that I'm open about. There's a lot of things that I'm working on that no one has any idea, because I want to protect those things, right?
Right.
I always felt like, man, maybe I got the next $1 million idea. No, I just have like 100 ideas that generate like $100. So, but don't. That's what I'm saying too. Is don't be so guarded that you cut yourself off completely. You have to have a door open, but you got to protect yourself. And I mean, you guys in the financial industry, I have no idea how you do what you do, but there's tons of ways as a financial institution that you got to protect yourself. And not only that, you're looking out for the protection of all of your customers as well. One thing that I do like, people will bark about this kind of stuff. I love y'all's security with the debit card. I've learned that if I make 2 quick transactions anywhere, that it won't accept the second one. And so
It'll tell you, hey, are you doing this?
Yeah, and so I always go to that Stripes gas station, the 7-Eleven Stripes. Those people there are always so nice, by the way. That's why I like going there. They're just all cool and laid back. And sometimes I'll see Brandon LaFleur. He'll hang out over there. And Brandon and I will actually engage in a conversation some days. And so I like going over there. And if I see him, I always offer to like buy him lunch, and he never wants anything. He really is a good kid. He's just had a hard life,
Yes.
But I love going over there, and it's funny because I go get gas. I'm like, oh, I forgot to run in and get this, and I tried to use it. It's like, oh, it's declined. I'm like, great, somebody stole what little money I had in that account. Well, it wasn't, because y'all have such good protection in there. So
It can be annoying sometimes, but unfortunately it's standard in the financial industry because you have some not so nice people. So.
How is that, maybe this all kind of steer the conversation in this direction. How has all that security stuff changed from the time that you started working at the credit union to the position you are now with Walker County Federal? I mean, you've seen some drastic security things over the years, I would assume.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. I mean, there was a time where we didn't have to worry about any of that. You just protected your password or your PIN number, and that was it. And I mean, now you have software in place that monitors certain merchants, certain dollar amounts, certain types of transactions, all kinds of things like that. They've had to put, because there are all of those pieces in place, we've had to put in ways to be able to contact members to verify those transactions, to make sure that you're not cut off from your own money. And the sad part about that is now you have scammers that are portraying to be those fraud companies to verify your transactions, and people fall into their traps.
Man.
And so, the credit union is never going to call you and ask you for your personal information. They're going to call and verify that they're talking to you, but they're never going to ask you for your card number, anything, your social, your account number. We already have that. So they're going to verify the transactions that are suspicious. And so, and legitimate people aren't going to have you do their financial work for them. And that's one of the biggest things right now. We're seeing check fraud is on an uptick again, and specifically U.S. Treasury checks. And that's going to be a big deal because of it being tax season. A lot of people are probably going to get frustrated with the financial institution industry right now, but U.S. Treasury checks and state comptroller checks are being counterfeited.
Wow.
And so we're having to put holds on checks like that we've never had to do in the past.
Is there someone like manually every check that comes through that has to verify checks? How does that process work?
They actually have the U.S. Treasury has actually tried to create a platform for us to go in and verify that information. However, you have to register for it. And in fact, Rachel was working on trying to figure out, I've already done that. And Rachel made contact with them last week, and I'm not sure, trying to get in touch with one of them is like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
So
5-hour hold, like calling the IRS.
trying to find a penny and that you dropped in, the middle of Houston. So, but it's changed a lot, but I guess the crime has evolved as technology evolves. People try to get wise, and it's frustrating. It's so frustrating. And of course, when you have financial losses like that, in order to protect us, we have insurance in place to cover, those types of things, especially when it's large dollar amounts that the credit union takes a loss on. In order for us not to take that loss or to recover some of the loss, we have to file insurance claims, which then make our insurance go up. Luckily, we haven't had to do that in a long time, but it happens. And I just look at the scale that we're on, which is a small scale compared to some of these other financial institutions. So, however, a lot of what we consider large or detrimental to daily operations is also a fraction of what the bigger financial institutions. I mean, and at the end of the day, we have to look at it as the cost of doing business today, and there's really not a lot that you can do about it other than stay on top of technology and try to be that one step behind, because we'll never be one step ahead of them. So
you guys, and pardon my ignorance on this, I've always thought about this. I never really took accounting classes or advanced financial classes, but I assume that financial institutions, the main way that they make money, is the more money you guys have coming in, that's more money that you can lend out. You're making money on the interest, right?
Yes. We make money on our primary source of income comes from loans.
So you're wanting to loan money out.
Absolutely. So we need your deposits. We want to pay you to loan us your money so we can loan it out. And obviously in return we pay dividends, but we earn money. Our primary source of income is from interest income, and then we they have what you call non-interest income. And those things, and at the end of the day, all of that combined together help pay for our daily, monthly, annual operations. All the debit card programs. That's the amount of money that goes into that by itself is unreal. The data processor, of course, that affords us the opportunity to be able to handle the accounts, do transactions and things like that, and store member data. Obviously our building and
you got
whatever.
a lot of overhead.
There's
too,
a
to
lot.
run it.
There is a lot. Your staff, taking care of your staff and
Well, they work for free,
Yeah, I bet they do.
Even you, I know that you don't get paid.
Not a dime.
Nobody, yeah.
Not a dime.
Right.
No, but I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, and obviously, right now, one of the things that everybody in the financial industry probably can relate to is the up and down of the economy, and you don't know which way to go. You don't know if you want to move too fast, or you don't want to move too fast, and you don't want to move too slow. And right now, it's been very difficult to find that balance. So,
definitely a lot to keep up with, and a lot of moving parts. So
there is a lot of moving parts, and hopefully, we keep a lot of that stuff behind the scenes. And the only thing that the members need to worry about is their own personal business and what ways we can help them. And we always want to hear from people. Unfortunately, sometimes the negative stuff helps us open our eyes to potential issues that we didn't know were there. If you come complain, just be nice to us.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how if you're nice, how much different stuff works? Now, for me, nice got me in trouble in Fargo. I remember my former boss up there. She said, "You're just too nice of a person," and I'll never forget that. She said, you make it really hard on me because you're too nice. And those are the kind of comments that make you start quit, right? We were talking about this earlier, and I was telling someone this the other day, and I said, I'm not going to change who I am. Well, you got to be you. And now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of other things that we need to change. There's things in my life that I need to change, but if somebody gives you that compliment, don't change that. Be who you are.
That is probably one of my biggest faults is I don't know if everybody knows that, and I don't guess I necessarily need to share that all the time or on this platform either. But I think that's probably one of my weaknesses is being so kind-hearted. And I hate that I'm like that because in some instances it's not a good thing to be like that. So.
But it balances out, And
I hope so.
Well, and I think about, but think about this. You go back and look, Toy, at how long you've been at the credit union now. You've been there so long because of that. If you weren't that way, you wouldn't be there. And that's the way that I look at it. There's times that I go back and question, well, maybe I should have been more stern about this or done that. And I was like, no, again, it all goes back to every single decision that we've made, all culminates to us being right here at this exact moment. Wherever you're at right now listening or watching, the decisions you have made have put you where you're at right now. Maybe you're still in bed. You haven't got up and go to work today. Maybe you're going to lose your job because you're supposed to be there 8 o'clock and here it is 8:25. That decision, hopefully not. But anyways, it's the truth. And you go back and look at all the wins that you've had in life versus all the losses. And I think, as long as you've got more wins and you've done things the right way, you don't change who you are. You want to grow, obviously. I'm taking classes at ORU right now, and our next term starts today. We had a nice 5 weeks off, and so now it's back online classes today. But I want to learn and grow, but I'm definitely not going to change at the core who I am or what I believe. And I think if you stay true to that, you'll find success in life.
I definitely feel like that some of my success has to be, a lot of my success, my previous CEO set a good foundation for us, and I tried to stay with his culture. Of course, as time has changed over the last 12 years that I've been in this position and that he's been gone, things have changed drastically. And then I have had amazing people working with me, to include staff and our volunteers, our board members and supervisory committee members. And I think that it takes all of us. It takes a village to make things good and desirable, and hopefully all of those things trickle down to our membership. So I'm certainly not saying that we don't make mistakes, and unfortunately we can't satisfy everybody, but it's certainly something that we try to do.
Yeah, well, good stuff. I mean, I enjoy it. What I love most about this show, Toy, is, I have a general idea of what we're going to talk about, but I always love where the conversations go. And that's why, even though I've got kind of an outline in my head, I don't ever want to script what we say, because I wouldn't have thought that we'd get in here today and talk about how different aspects of the credit union work and then kind of transition that into why we're at where we're at,
That's
so.
Right.
Well, hey, we're going to take a break. Nothing to give away today, so if you want to keep watching, please do. Don't hang up on us today. We don't have any prizes we're giving away today, so the 0 Degree Creation phone and text line not open today, but we will resume our prizes a little later this week. We're just running a little low on prizes, to be honest. So Cafe Texan hooked us up with a bunch of cards, but I've got to get together a plan for this week of some new things that we can give away. I do want to encourage, if you're a business and you'd like to get a little extra promotion and donate some things for prizes, we have that happen. Steph Valley at Magnolia Kennel has donated things over time that we have given away as a perfect example. Maybe you'd like to be a part of the show in that way. I know a lot of people said, Rob, I'd love to support the show, but I financially can't. This is a very low-key commitment. Doesn't cost much. We ask if there is anything that you want to provide, at least a $25 value. Gift cards will be accepted, anything like that. But we would love to do that, and we'll gladly mention your name as long as it doesn't conflict with our Foundation 5 sponsors. And so this morning, maybe you're a business and you're saying, hey, I'd love to be a part of that. I'd love to help give away stuff. One of the biggest prizes that we give away besides those gift cards to Cafe Texan is Leah Linebeck. When she had her retail shop, she would bring us flowers, and man, those things would go like hotcakes. We get 50, 60 text messages. I would get in trouble because I was here as a guy delivering flowers to women I didn't know at businesses, so I had to call Bridget and say, if you see a picture I love you, sweetheart, but I'm just delivering the flowers, and I didn't want any husbands to like come hunt me down. But maybe you'd like
They
to.
were probably glad you did it, so they didn't have to.
Yeah. I would say, oh yeah, who's your husband? Oh, his name's Roger. Yeah, Roger was the one that told me to bring these to you today. But in all seriousness, if you'd like to support that endeavor, we'd love to have your support and help, and we'll be glad to mention you and give you a big thanks for that. Just send a comment below, or you can email us hello@hellohuntsvilletx.com. We will step aside and take a break. Our friends at Huntsville Memorial Hospital are now sponsoring segments on this show as well, and so we're thankful for their generous support, so we'll give them a little recognition here in a few moments. They're doing great work in our community. We'll step aside, we'll take a break, stay with us, more to come, and let us know you're out there, by the way. We'd love to hear from you here on this Monday. It's brought to you by Walker County Federal Credit Union. We'll be back in a few moments. Stay with us. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA.
Hey friends, Rob Hipp, Media and Community Outreach Minister here at First Baptist Church, Huntsville. Let me ask you, when's the last time you felt real hope? Maybe it's been a while since you've been to church, or maybe you've never felt connected to a church at all. Well, friends, that's okay. Here at First Baptist, we're a harbor of hope, and we welcome everyone just as they are. We have programs throughout the week for all ages to come together, ask questions, grow in faith, and find the hope that only Jesus Christ can bring. Whether you're looking for a fresh start or a community to call home, we'd love for you to join us. Come experience something real. For more information, visit fbchuntsville.org. First Baptist Church, Huntsville, a harbor of hope.
In this harbor of hope, we are safe inside.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas. Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kay Boning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life. This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville. Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
This is Kay Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools, and you're listening to Spirit Radio.
All right, then. Welcome back at it now. Sound like a hey, Toy. I got a question to ask you. You may not want to divulge this information. This is why people watch the show, because they get some insider info on people that they normally wouldn't get.
It's not fair
on.
for you to do this to me, because even if I don't say it out loud, my face will probably say it out loud.
You ever go to Taco Bell? See, there it is. I heard
Why?
I heard the Mexamelt was back. Have you ever had that thing back in the day? It's like some sort of.
I'm sure I did.
It's back. I've heard it's back.
Honestly, I've eaten there quite a bit, especially when I was working out. I was eating their chicken cantina bowls. They were really good.
Is it good?
It really was good.
Okay,
I stopped eating them. I stopped going over there for a minute. I get burnt out.
This is my goal for this year, is to like eat better too, and it's
you like not, that I'm working out eating it.
Yes, not easy. One time, Bridget and I went on this. I mean, we were like riding bikes, and we went. This was years ago, and we still had a ton of energy, and we were riding bikes and like just about to die because we had such a big workout. You know what we did? We went over to like KFC and just like indulged all this food.
That's funny.
And it canceled out everything that we had just did. You know, so. Well, hey, I do want to mention our new streaming partner here on Good Morning Huntsville is our friends at Huntsville Memorial Hospital. You'll be hearing about them every day, and for a brief segment, you'll see their logo up on the screen. Now, our show, obviously, still here on Mondays. We want to make sure that we still let everyone know, of course, we couldn't be here without Walker County Federal Credit Union. Also, all the content on our website. I always want to make sure that people know that. It's not just this show, but our website as well, which we're getting a lot of hits now. A lot of folks go to our website every day. Our newsletter goes out. We don't charge for any of that stuff, and it's because of our Foundation 5 sponsors. So we do appreciate Walker County Federal and Toy hanging out with us here on a Monday. But this segment is, and our streaming is brought to you now by Huntsville Memorial Hospital. So there's costs that go in, and I was trying to figure out how to offset certain costs, and our streaming provider had decided to go up on their rates. If you can believe that, you know,
can't imagine.
Everybody has to go up, and we haven't gone up here in a couple of years. And I don't plan on going up anytime soon, but we appreciate the generous support of Huntsville Memorial Hospital. You'll be hearing more about some great things that they are doing here in the community, and as soon as we have more information, we'll announce that. But we are excited to have them as part of our platform here now on Good Morning Huntsville.
I want to toot their horn for a second, just from a personal experience. I've been in Huntsville my entire life, obviously, and I've had to resort to using the emergency room a couple of times, and I had during a few years ago, I had to end up going to the emergency room, and it was probably one of the most horrific experiences I ever had. It was horrible. And I was like, I'm never coming back here again. I'm never coming back here again. And so then I went to another option and paid like 4 times as much as I do at Huntsville more. And I'm thinking, okay, then. Anyways, well, I had an episode of kidney stones.
Oh, no.
Not too long ago. And I thought about that bill I got from the more expensive place. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to give them one more try. That place rolled out the red carpet. So they're under new management versus where they were at the time before this.
Yeah.
And I know that they have a new, I want to say that I heard they had a new director, which may not be so new anymore, for the ER. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I had the best experience. When you're not feeling good, the last thing you want to do is have, not be treated fairly. And the previous experience was, it's too personal to go into details, but I can tell you that I was in the hallway begging for somebody to come help me, that I was in bad shape. It was also another episode of Kidney Stones, P.S. Anyways, but
It's from the Taco Bell.
It's probably from the healthy eating from Taco Bell. Anyways, but no, their staff, their providers there have been so amazing, and they're doing internships there now. I guess it's probably not the right word that I'm looking for.
No, I think so. I think there's some kids from Sam Houston
yes,
State that are over there now.
And they were so nice. They were like, "Do you mind if they step in and come in?" And they were just, I don't know. They've got a good thing going over there, and so I'm hopeful with the new things that they have presented that they're needing community support with. I hope all of that stuff comes to fruition, because I do think that they are on the right track. So kudos to them for that.
I think, when you look at a community, and I'm no expert at this, but I just speak on experiences that I've had. But when you look at a community, there's 2 things that really stand out. One is education, and 2 is health. And those 2 things are detrimental to a community's success. And what do I mean by that? The overall well-being. If you've got a community that has a great educational system, or an educational system that's working hard to improve, and you have a medical industry that's working hard to improve, great things will happen. We saw a great bond passed for Huntsville ISD. And look at that, the new attitudes that have been brought to the community. New families that may have never moved here before now are moving here. Coach Southern shared a prime example with me about a family that came, saw the stadium and the work that the school district's doing, and said, we want to be in this community. And I think a lot of times people get wrapped up thinking, well, that's just going to benefit one area. It's only going to benefit athletics for the school district, right? No, it benefits the entire community.
It brings revenue into the community, because now our stadiums and fields can be used for other events and things like that. So it absolutely, I know there was a lot of criticism with that, where, they need to be worried about the education system instead of sports.
They did a lot of that.
And the whole thing it all is all a domino effect, and it takes each piece of that puzzle to make the whole puzzle complete. And I just wish people would open their minds to be a little bit more positive about some of that stuff,
And that's the same, as you think about our healthcare here in Huntsville. And I can relate to this with Georgetown, because Georgetown had their own hospital. It was Georgetown Healthcare System. It's very confusing because it was GHS. Well, people would think of Georgetown High School when they would see that. So it was very confusing when you'd see it. But there was instances, I remember growing up, that people would say, oh, no, don't go to Georgetown Hospital. And they brought in new leadership, new management, ended up building that into the Georgetown healthcare system became very well known as a premier healthcare system in that area. And then ultimately St. David's came in, bought it out, and now it's one of the top hospitals in the nation right in my community. And it was because of a change of leadership. Now it's a hospital that people want to go to. And I feel, Toy, that that's the same, the direction that our healthcare system is going here, and the folks at Huntsville Memorial Hospital are doing a great job
As
with
our
that.
community grows, we need that also. There's no sense in us having to drive, out of town for healthcare needs when this community is big enough to have those amenities right at our fingertips. Like I said, I hope that what we're what we've seen so far continues to grow, because I think it's been a positive influence.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that I can go to a doctor here in Huntsville now. I don't have to go down to Conroe. And here's another thing that I want to say. If you had an experience 20 years ago, don't judge an experience from I understand it's easy to do that. Don't get me wrong. But it's just like a restaurant. My friend Ken Gobble said this. And he and his wife had Pension Plate. They were doing fantastic, by the way. I hated to see them, for them to shut down, but it's because it was just for them, it was lack of help. They were just running thin. But Ken said this: if you've been to a restaurant that's had bad service and it's been 6 months, go back, because there's such a change and turnover in restaurants. And that's what we experienced at Bandera Grill. People had made, I'm never going to go there, and this and that. We went over. It was one of the best meals that I had. Elsa over there, they have worked hard. They've turned things around. It's a great place to eat. And so it's the same with any business. And think about healthcare. Maybe you haven't been to the local hospital in 15 years because of something that happened. Give them another chance, and I guarantee that you're going to find good service. And so
yes, everybody has an off day, or goes through everybody goes through seasons. Businesses are no exception, to those types of things. Individuals go through seasons in their life, and unfortunately businesses do too. And I promise you, a business doesn't open and say, I hope I can give the worst service possible.
Yeah, no joke.
Unless
it's that Dick's Last Resort, that's their goal, is to give bad service.
And you just have to have a funky sense of humor.
You better have thick skin when you go into that place.
So anyways, but
yeah, it's good stuff. Well, Toy, I know you got to get rolling. You've got a busy day. I did want to bring up, you serve on the committee, the executive committee at the chamber. Things are going well over there. I know you guys are in a transition stage, and things are looking really great. And some events, I know Diva Night is coming up before we know it, right?
Yes, normally we've started planning prior to now, but we have had I've had a meeting. I'm the chair of that, and I don't know if I want to brag about it because I'm not an events person. However, I oversee the logistics, if you will, of that. And I met with Cassidy Gutierrez, which is over the events at the chamber now. So if you haven't had an opportunity to meet her, swing by or be on the lookout for her at some of these events in town. But Diva Night's coming up April 25th. So we have a committee meeting, I believe, next week. And hopefully we'll have our theme planned out and start giving that information out, telling folks where they can get their tickets, and just an event for all the ladies. It is going to be out at the fairgrounds as it has been the last few years. So be looking for information on that. And another thing I wanted to mention when we were talking about HISD, the HISD Buyers Group little dinner and banquet is coming up on February 8th, I believe.
Sounds like an exclusive club. I'm part of the Buyers Group.
This group is, so HISD is able to give each student that has a fair project something towards their project. And the credit union has been supporting that event for quite some time, and it's fun. They have a dessert auction, serve you a meal, and excuse me, and the FFA club or organization serves, kind of serves you, does the little Vanna White thing, showing you the desserts and stuff like that. And it's a good little cause to help the school district be able to raise funds to give the Walker County Fair participants funds for their hard work on their projects.
And when is that happening?
February 8th.
Wow, that's
You would need
quick.
to get in touch with Shannon Duncan if that's something that you're interested in doing. I do believe they sell tables of 8, and I apologize, I don't know the amount of that or how much those cost. Shannon doesn't even know that I'm promoting her event.
Yeah.
Anyways, but get in touch with Shannon Duncan, because I do think that in addition to table sales, they do individual tickets.
Perfect. Well, friends, that'll wrap it up. Many of you joining us today. Sorry we don't have a giveaway today. The Zero Degree Creations phone and text line will be opened up later this week for you to text in. But many of you were here. We appreciate you. Did want to shout out to the Horn family, saying good morning, Huntsville. Have an amazing day. Enjoy the sunshine. And they said that we're praying that everyone stays well and healthy. So it's good to see you. Richard and Linda, they are big supporters of this show. Many of you as well are. And, of course, we could not be here on this magnificent, as Karen always says, non-mimosa Monday, without our friends from Walker County Federal. Go by and see them on Normal Park. They'll take great care of you.
Next Monday is MLK we will not be here.
And Inauguration Day.
It is. So
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Walker County Federal Credit Union is closed on Monday.
And we will not have a show on Monday. So we'll see you. Hey, as I end every show, wrapping it up today, reminding you that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We're really not. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. Until next time, good morning, Huntsville. God bless. We'll see you back at it with the Thompson family. Jason Thompson, tomorrow morning, bright and early at, I promise, well, I hope, at 7:30. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Toy.
Yes. Take care.